Welcome back to the channel. This is the EMWest Network, and today, boy, we're gonna have to talk about the new Nintendo Switch and the Joy-Con issues that I'm pretty sure are not fixed. Now, and if you know anything about this, first off, this website is from The Verge. We talk about two articles. No, one article, and the other one's from Google. Now, if you don't already know about this, let's bring you back to a wonderful time called 2017, where Nintendo actually had to go through a action class lawsuit about the Joy-Con drift. And if you don't know what Joy-Con drift is, basically it's an issue where the controller, which are Joy-Cons for those that don't know, would tend to make your character move, or the analog would be damaged, buttons wouldn't work. It's more so Joy-Con drift. Basically, it's analogs. There are other issues with buttons, but that's a whole different story. That's just people abusing the controller. Joy-Con drift was basically your analog would move on its own. So the game was practically unplayable for certain people. Some people had light drift. I personally experienced Joy-Con drift myself, but I had so many controllers that I just, sold the other ones, got more, or I bought a second, third party controllers. I do that all the time. And I eventually ended up going to the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which I got that for $30. They're only like $69. The really good controller that replaces any Joy-Cons, because I don't play games that require Joy-Cons. So, anywho, moving forward, let's go back to this article with The Verge. Years later, as you already know, the Switch OLED, which is the model that you see on the screen right here with my little cursor moving, this bad boy right here doesn't have any new features outside of a Ethernet cable, a OLED screen, which is pointless. Don't get me wrong, it would look nice, but this is what, the Switch should have been. It should have had this type of kickstand instead of, it was like a little terrible little, it was a terrible kickstand originally, put it that way. And this will have 64 gigs internally. Now, typically, in my opinion, this should have probably had at least 128 to 256 minimum. Because if you play a I want to use the word flagship, but if you play a AAA or flagship game on these systems, Nintendo Switch, and you download it without the cartridge, remember, every game cannot be played uh, purchased. Correction, every game cannot be purchased with the little Nintendo Switch cards. Basically, some of them do require downloads. When I say download, I'm not talking about update. It'll stay on a box. You have to download this game. This is just a box, right? So some games would be 20, 30 gigs. And you may say, well, they're Nintendo games. Mortal Kombat 11, which I have on Nintendo, is 30 gigs. DC Universe, if you've ever played that game, which is a free game to play, you should definitely check it out, is like 20 something, 30 gigs. So the internal memory of a Switch cannot handle just one of those games. After all, the internal memory of a Switch is 32 gigs. This one is going to be 64. So they should have definitely upped the gig size to 128 to 256. And that may sound a little much, but it's not. Because the average Xbox system is what, 500? Maybe, minimum? Like the new systems? Not to mention there wasn't any graphical changes to this besides the OLED screen. The battery's the same. The headphone jack's the same. The power button and stuff looks a little bit different, might be easier to hit, but realistically it's the same screen. The processor didn't change. Nothing about this system really changes, but they decided to up the price to 350, which in truth it should have just stayed at 300. Because now with the Xbox Series S being 299 and about light years, and I mean light years more advanced than this system, there's no reason, again, granted that the system is handheld and granted the success of the Nintendo Switch with the sales, I do understand why they didn't lower the price under 300. But I would have figured it would have still stayed $300, but they put an extra 50 on it. All right, whatever. I'm still going to get the system primarily because I want to unbox it. And of course, I'm going to keep it for myself. And my Animal Crossing Nintendo Switch I'll give to my wife. So that's the only reason why I'm buying one. Anywho, moving forward, Joy-Con Drift had issues where it just amazes me how some of these companies know they have an issue with their particular product. And instead of admitting it or trying to fix the issue, they typically just sweep it under the carpet. It's a new system with the same Joy-Cons. Like, it's going to have literally the same exact issues that you currently have. Now, the only plus side I'll say about this particular system is the fact that all your old accessories will probably work. I don't know about cases or anything because it is a bigger screen. It's a 7-point inch screen instead of the 6.2 regular Switch. But realistically, Um, they don't intend on fixing this issue, and this is definitely I don't know the exact word, but I want to say anti-consumer. It's something else I wanted to use, but anyone seeing this video know what I'm talking about when I give this example. This is the type of thing that, I really hate about these companies, especially EA and these other companies, where they know they're releasing a damaged product. Like Nintendo didn't even bother updating their internet servers. So you'll have a new Nintendo Switch with the OLED screen. Remember, nothing's new about it. It's just a screen. It's just another model of the same thing with slightly more internal memory. There was nothing different about this system. Okay, 7 inches, the screen's a little bit bigger, OLED. Okay, let's be real. The OLED isn't going to magically make the system worth the money. Sure, it can play at a higher resolution, but half the games on it, for instance, Ender Lilies, amazing game, it stutters sometime on a Switch. Now, I'm a PC player primarily, used to be PlayStation, but after the PS5 fiasco of games not working and scalping, I finally got one. It didn't work. PlayStation could go somewhere, it could kick rocks. I will get one eventually, but not now. Maybe when they make a slim model, who knows. But, back to this situation right here, I've always had an issue with the controllers. Like my godchildren, I give them Switch controllers 4 or 5 months in, even though they play every day, their controllers are damaged. And I'm like, well, compared to their PlayStation 4 or Xbox, no one else has that. I mean, they also have Joy-Cons. I'm not going to Joy-Con. They also have analog issues too. I'm not going to exempt them because I think it's the same, not creator, but same company making those analogs. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I believe it was an article about that before where it explains why they're having this problem. Because if you have the same type of company, like you go to Inshurion to get phones, so if the same company had an issue, that primarily is the company or whatever parts that they're using to make the controllers. But I digress. This is something that's not going to change. If you already have controllers, you're going to just snap them onto this one. I don't believe these controllers have any more technology in them, thank God, because they'll try to jack the price for that too if they had the opportunity. But it looks like it launches October 8th. Again, I'm not going to say real gamers because it's not really a thing. If you're a mobile gamer, if you're a Switch gamer, if you're PC, whatever you is, Xbox, PlayStation, listen, you get what you like, you play what you like. It's that simple. I don't see the frustration personally of the Joy-Cons not working properly on the simple fact that the system's been out for 4 years, Nintendo Switch. The fact that people still buy Madden, the fact that people still play basketball EA games, any sports games, can't really, I'm not going to say you can't, you can, but when you look at the gravity of the situation of them copying and pasting Madden for years and years and years and years, and I'll do a video on that one next, this doesn't actually seem that bad. Like at least your system is going to work. They're still going to have a lot of third-party games. That's what has the Switch for me. All the third-party indie games, those are better than the Nintendo games in my opinion. And I'm glad that they're not like PlayStation, where they kind of limit what developers can do and what kind of cells they can put on there. But anyway, at the end of the day, everything's about money. It's about greed. It's about profit. And I get it. You should mix in some type of what's the word I'm looking for here? Agreeability. Fix your internet servers, Nintendo. Fix your experience on a Nintendo. The Nintendo store is terrible. Like I've seen, and when Android first came out, we're talking years ago with the that wasn't the Evo. I forget what phone that was, but that had a better interface on Play Store when it finally opened up because it wasn't a Play Store originally. It was kind of like they were starting new. That had a better Play Store when it first opened up than Nintendo. Nintendo's online. With all the billions and quadrillions of dollars they're making from these games and microtransactions and other things, they need to stop being lazy asses and go hire a person that actually knows networking and knows how to make websites and get design or listen, steal somebody else's idea. Like look at PlayStation, look at Xbox, and then completely create a user experience online when it comes to downloading games. Anyway, hopefully, actually there's one more thing I wanted to mention. Now, even though the new Switch comes with the Ethernet cable, right? No, sorry, not Ethernet cable. Comes with the Ethernet slot finally, which what system in this day and age doesn't? The thing can't even play Netflix. Like it just goes to show you can't stream. I think you could do Hulu, but that's it. And you can't stream Crunchyroll, can't stream Funimation. I don't know. Even the Wii can do certain things. So I don't know what they're doing with this system. I honestly don't know. But um, I was going to say something. I kind of forgot what it was. But oh, that's what it was. Here we are. I don't know what the speeds are going to be for this Ethernet. So that's one thing that Nintendo didn't specify, unless there's a website that kind of breaks down the download speeds you'll get. Okay, remember, some of us have terabyte download speeds, and I don't know who has that, but I don't. But hundreds of megabyte speed, 20 megs, 45 meg uploads, downloads, all different things higher than that. And systems can only take so much. I forgot. I think the PlayStation 4 or whatever it was like 20 something megs, whatever it was. So each system varies. What are their download speeds going to be? Because I can't imagine it being much. I think they just added an Ethernet cable for slightly more stable downloads, but we both know it's going to be slow. It takes me literally not even 20 minutes to download Call of Duty, and it's a 100 gig game. On the other hand, it took me an hour and some change to download Resident Evil 6 on Nintendo Switch because their Wi-Fi speed is so disgustingly slow. Like, work on your infrastructure, make it better, and then release something. At least work on the software. Like, they won't even do that. But again, this is a company that is making tons of money. They don't feel the urge to even have to do that because they have so many buyers that don't generally care. Anywho, as a consumer, I care personally, and that's why I made this video. So, like, subscribe. If you have any comments about the new Switch, are you going to pick it up? Like I said, I am for a replacement. Not even a replacement, just an extra edition with an extra dock. Oh, and another thing, and this is very important. I don't know if this new Switch will be compatible with the old dock. That's something that I really would like answer. And hopefully Nintendo will, ask that question as time goes closer and closer. They'll probably do a little, I don't know, one of them internet shows and explain things more about the Switch. Who knows? I don't know what they're going to do. But again, hopefully the old Switch works with the new dock and the new Switch works with the old dock. And we'll go from there. Anyway, this is the video. See you in the next one.